Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 45 of the Comic Room Pod, the official 1 year anniversary, happy birthday, podiversary, whatever you want to call it.
Birthday podcast.
Yeah, it's been 1 year, 45 episodes later, 45 weeks of recording, which is a lot.
Yeah, that means we only took 7 weeks
Yeah.
where we didn't record out of 52.
And most of that was like recently.
Or 2 or 3 when we were traveling.
Yeah. So
That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's very good.
yeah, I mean, how many, what is it about making habits? What's the saying?
Yeah, how many does it take? Like 70 times or 7 in a row? I don't know.
Yeah, it's something like that.
I think we formed it by now.
Honestly, I was thinking about it today. I'm pretty impressed with us. I think it's no small feat.
No.
You know, I even like looking at my uploads outside of like Comic Con vlog stuff or any other type of content that I do that's just like me. It's not nearly as consistent as this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think there's accountability because we both are committed to it. So
Yeah.
we both kind of have, if one of us is like, I've got busy this week, you can't really let the other guy down.
yeah, right.
So there's that. It helps a lot.
Yeah, it definitely does.
But partner, it's been great, man. I can't believe we made it for a year. I can, but I just can't believe it's gone this fast.
Yeah, I know. Have you watched the first episode at all?
No, I haven't. I probably should. That would be how was it?
It's we've come a long way production wise.
Okay.
I mean, and definitely like comfortability. Like I think our chemistry on screen and on mic is definitely
Smoother.
smoother for sure.
Okay, that's good.
But then also like the camera angle that we had in that first episode was rough.
Yeah. That's what they say, right? You have to start somewhere, and then you just get better.
Yeah, and we've definitely done like this room was bare. The lighting was like, I mean, this stuff is like it gives a glimpse of like a purple. And then we have some other like lighted cameras.
And we've done a few podcasts in other areas. Once in my office, and at least once or twice in your office.
Yeah,
I think 2 in your office. For sure. And then we did a couple when I was in Florence.
Right. Yeah,
which was fun.
Comic Room Pod going around the world.
Hey, man.
And around town.
You can come to us, or we'll come to you.
But thank you so much for everybody, every viewer, commenter. I mean, so many of you guys consistently comment and just engage in our conversation, and we really appreciate that.
We do.
So
it's a lot of fun to interact with you guys, and we're here, we're in front of a camera, and it can feel like it's one way, but you guys never let us lose sight of you because of your comments and interactions, and we appreciate it. It makes it so much more fun. You and I could talk comics all day long, and it's great, but it's fun having everybody on the other side of that camera, be part of the conversation.
Yeah, and even when you like talking about like accountability earlier, like it's the same thing of like wanting to be consistent with the uploads, and so being accountable to each other that like will show up, but also being accountable to the viewers that will show up for them. And so like without you guys, it would be a lot easier to be like, I'm not feeling great today. So you guys are really the icing on the cake for it all.
Yeah, that's right.
And we appreciate you guys. And so to show a little bit of that gratitude, we're going to be doing a giveaway. This is a book that we've talked about a lot this year. A book that we've said everybody should buy, should spec on.
Yep.
It's impactful, or it's an impactful key for many different reasons, as far as diversity in comics goes, as far as like the explosion of street level heroes.
Yep, which we know is coming.
Yep, beyond like cosmic, otherworldly, godlike, or just kind of crazy powers,
interstellar conflicts, and things like that.
Right? Yeah, just something grounded, which I think everybody likes. I mean, people respond well to Daredevil, and so this is definitely a part of that world. So I actually recently got my hands on a low grade copy of this book, and we're going to be giving it away to you guys. This is a raw copy of Luke Cage, Hero for Hire, issue number 1. This is probably like a 1/8 copy. It's all there. It's just not attached. So the cover is completely attached, but It's the first appearance of Luke Cage.
Yeah.
And this is an incredible
I
book.
actually don't own this book.
Like, easy.
I mean, I own half of it for about how long we did for about 2 minutes until we give this away.
So yeah, we're gonna be giving this away to you guys to celebrate our 1 year podiversary. All you gotta do is comment down below. Let us know your favorite moment of the podcast in the last year. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and go follow us on Instagram. I'm at Spros_comics. He's at Mr. Period Longbox. So again, to win this book, comment down below your favorite moment in the podcast of the last year. Subscribe to the channel right here, Spros Comics, and then follow us both on Instagram at Spros_comics and at Mr. Period Longbox. So
Yeah. Let me see.
three entries or three rules to enter.
Man, this is such a great book. I love that cover.
Yeah.
It checks all the boxes. It's a first appearance, and it's a great cover, and he's obviously prominently featured on the cover.
Yeah.
So it's all those things, and I love the 20-cent covers myself, and I love the frames.
Yeah.
I really can we give a different book away? No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
I need to get a copy of that book. I'm telling everybody else to get a copy. What am I doing?
seriously. So, I'm excited to see what favorite moment you guys got. Let us know. So, yeah.
Maybe this is the favorite moment when we gave the book away.
When I won the giveaway.
Yeah, when I won the giveaway.
Use his Bene Gesserit voice.
That's awesome.
All right. So, we have kind of a fun episode. Oh, wait a second. I totally forgot about this. We, to celebrate... When I say we, I mean my wife made a cake for the Comic Room Pod.
Look at that.
So it says Comic RP because
Your wife,
she ran out of letters.
my daughter. Yeah.
Turns 1. So there's the cake.
Yeah. Okay, I'm letting go. Don't you let go. That would be everybody's favorite moment if we dropped this cake. Blooper reel.
Maybe I should, as they say, clip farm and drop the cake on purpose.
Yeah. But it might work, but then I don't know if it's worth sacrificing the cake.
All right. Here's to our first year of podding and talking comics and buying comics and telling other people to buy comics and keeping other people probably more wrapped up into superhero movie news than they probably want to be.
Maybe.
But I'm keeping you up to date. And so hopefully, Lord willing, we get to do another year and, well, more than another year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, right. Cheers, guys.
Yeah, cheers. Should we blow it out?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Nice.
Hey.
All right.
We'll save it to eat it with our wives who are going to enjoy this with us after we've done recording, I think.
Let me just text.
Deb's answer to my invitation was, absolutely, text me when you're done.
Amazing. All right. Now I just texted her to pick up the cake. So.
Oh, right. To go back in the fridge, right?
So I don't reach over.
Oh, yeah. Knock it over.
And get a handful of it. Okay. So this episode, let me drink some water real quick. I've done a really bad job this last week of being hydrated. And I've been more active the last week and just summer. Heat, sweating more.
Yeah, creep up on you if you're not careful.
I've been golfing more. I've been boxing more.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, I can feel it. Yeah. All right. So, fun episode.
Yes.
Okay. So this is kind of like, there's a lot that's going on here. We're doing show and tell per usual. Mm-hmm. And I have an unboxing here, a really fun unboxing. News that is probably the best 1 year gift that we could have gotten. All right. So we'll get to that. And then we have these books behind us that we'll kind of just briefly talk about. But these are books that we've gotten in the last year. And so these are our top 5 books of...
Yeah, top 5 that I could fit on this wall.
Yeah. I definitely had a couple other books that would be on this wall if they could fit, but... these plastic ones don't fit. What's it called?
The thicker,
the square bound
golden age. Yeah.
Yeah. So, we'll get to these later. But I'm gonna kick us off with this unboxing. So
yeah, let's see it.
I don't remember if I mentioned it last week. I don't think I did.
Oh, I didn't bring my pocket knife, the one that I'm so proud of that I bought in Italy.
It's all right. I got mine handy dandy. So, every now and then I will just check eBay. Like, I'll randomly search up a key. So, like, Luke Cage Hero for Hire 1. Like, I'll just kind of Google.
Because you can get lucky sometimes.
Yeah, I'll just like look up. Or some Daredevil keys, like Daredevil 168. The one I've been looking up the most recently is X-Men 130. Just because that book is way down from what it was with the whole Taylor Swift stuff.
Yeah.
So if you're sitting on X-Men 130 and you're looking to get rid of it, let me know. I'm in the market for one.
It is a great book.
I'm seriously in the market for one. So let me know. High grade, preferably. So yeah, I just occasionally do that. And I came across this listing. I'll let you guys know what the book is. It's a Fantastic Four issue 48 CGC. So that's what I was looking for. I was like, well, I had the 140. You had a 40. We traded. I sold because my 40 was a little bit better presenting. Mm-hmm. So traded. I sold it to somebody at a great price. A lot of people chipped in to make this.
Yeah, that was cool.
This sell happen. And then I was like, well, the movie still hasn't come out yet. The book is still like slowly climbing. So I'm gonna kind of just keep searching.
Yeah.
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you. It looks great.
So I was like, I think one night before I went to bed, I was like, well, let me just give it a double check. Let me just see what kind of FF48s are on the market. Now, normally that's a fool's errand for this book because people always think that they're sitting on gold with this book. It is a valuable book.
Yeah.
But I think people kind of overvalue it sometimes. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you don't need to. Like, the book is...
There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah. And the book is already worth something.
It's valuable.
Yeah. So you don't... If you price it right, it's going to move. So I'm just struggling because this dude taped this thing up to the nines, man. I'm yapping here, just trying to buy myself some time. I'm just.
Well, all right. I'll tell. While you do that, I'll tell you.
Hold on, wait. This is like when the teacher says what I was just doing the last like minute or so is like when the teacher says you got 1,000-word limit and you're on like word 700 and you're done and you're like,
yeah,
oh man, I gotta read
minimum requirement 1,000 words.
Yeah, minimum required 1,000 words, and you're like at 700 and you're like pretty much done.
Yeah.
So you're just like, well, we're gonna start using words I've never used before.
A few unnecessary independent clauses are getting shoved in here between these sentences. That's hilarious.
I'm sure you're familiar with that.
Oh, too familiar with it. Yeah, way too familiar with it. I had a really. It's hard to say because your memory, but it was a near mint copy of FF48 when I was a kid. That was the one Fantastic Four key that I could actually afford because it was about $40, and a decent amount of paper route money went to it.
Yeah.
But I wish I had held on to it long enough for professional grading to come out because that would have been nice. But I sold it. I kept the 49. And I don't think I ever owned a 50. So now I reacquired 48 and I acquired 50. So I have the trilogy now. But I sure wish I had that original one I got, man.
Yeah.
But,
All right. So I saw this listing and this dude. Okay. You made that easier. All right. So I saw this listing and it had 21 people watching, which is a pretty significant amount. Yeah. It was a CGC 3.5 FF48. And then on the picture, he had a raw copy of FF49. And I was like, 770. Even a low grade 49 is a couple hundred. I was like, what are 3.5 48s going for? So I look up last sale on a 3.5, and he's pretty much like on the money for 48.
Which is like, how much is a 3.5 48 typically?
I think 790 might have been the last, or something like 750 was the last sale, I think. And so he was asking, that's what it was. I think the last two sales were like 750 and 790, and I think he had just split the difference. So I was like, wow, he's like right on the money. That's kind of crazy. And he's got this raw copy of FF49 like in the picture. So I'm like reading the description. This is like when I'm going to bed, which is I think like about 3 a.m. and so
3 a.m.
and so I'm like looking and scrolling, and I'm like, am I missing something? Like, cause even I was like, it's low grade. Like like you guys see, there's pieces missing from the cover, but it's still like from the pictures that I saw, it's like a 2.0 copy.
Yeah.
And that's still like, if I get it graded, a 2.0 goes for like $330, I think was the last sale.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what the heck? So I'm looking at the description. Everything seems like fine in the description. I'm like, okay, it's late. I'm dead tired. Like, if I might just be like missing something, because if there's 21 people watching, I don't know how 21 people who want this book have passed on this.
Right.
So I was like, there has to be something I'm missing. So I was like, I'll go to sleep. If I wake up and it's gone, fine. If I wake up and it's still there, I'll do more research. So I wake up, I go about my morning. I forgot about it until the afternoon, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta double check. I guess you haven't. Still there. So I'm like, okay. It seems like you're getting a 2.0 raw copy of 49 in this 3.5 CGC copy of 48. So I went to check out the tax on it. Bumps it up like a significant amount. So I just shot him an offer for $725, which kept me under $800 after taxes and shipping. He accepted it almost immediately, and
there they are.
We're gonna see if I got scammed.
Yeah,
or
I doubt it.
I doubt it also, because he sent me some pictures of
not like when we went to Vegas and and he had an FF48 and it was about in white pages as the color of that box right there.
Yeah.
And light as a feather. It was clearly not.
All right, so he sent me a picture right before he shipped it out of a stack of raw books.
Oh yeah.
Which he said, I just threw in the rest of my FF collection.
I recognize that cover right there.
Yeah, he said I threw in the rest of my FF collection. So he's like, if you want them, take them. If you don't want them, just pass them on to the next person. So respect to this guy, because his protection is great. But when you're trying to unbox on screen,
lots of tape.
It's a little annoying. All right, so yeah, I mean nothing big here, but these are cool. Yeah. So FF, this is actually this is an Art Adams cover. Wow. I have this copy. I know I do. This is FF 347. It's FF and like a bunch of villains. So
yeah,
that's really cool. This one is Jerry Ordway cover. I didn't know he did FF. This looks like it's around the Byrne era. FF 295, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's around the Byrne era. So Jerry Ordway did a lot of Superman during this time, which I think, was Byrne also doing Superman at this time?
Yeah, well, he may have just finished it, but I'd say he's probably doing it because Man of Steel, and then he did the run for a while.
Yeah, so FF 295 when She-Hulk was part of the crew.
Yeah, blasphemy, but we'll
I've never seen this cover. This is cool. This is a triple-sized issue.
Yeah.
Issue 236, John Byrne cover. It's kind of got all the Marvel heroes.
25th anniversary of FF1, I think.
Oh,
20th anniversary of 20th anniversary.
Wow. And then we got FF 186. Oh wow, is this the first appearance? Enter Salem 7.
Yep.
Is the first appearance of Salem 7?
I think so. Yeah.
Wow, we'll have to double check that information, but
for sure.
That's really cool.
Yeah, this is a good book right here too.
Yeah,
this is cool.
I
came out in 1982.
We got to check next week when we bag and board to see if those copies are in there. Those are cool books.
Yeah, that is cool. Salem 7.
All right. So next up is this raw copy of FF49. All right. So you guys know me. When we talk about this book, I mean, I always say I think 49 is the better book. Now let's see.
Yeah, I don't agree with that, but you don't like the cover of 48. But I do.
Yeah, I don't like the cover. I think this is the way better.
And I don't love the cover of 49. Never have. And I know that I'm in the minority there.
Here's the thing.
It feels like Galactus' head is just floating.
Let's get a debate going in the comments here. Best Jack Kirby cover of all time.
Oh,
For me, this is it.
Oh man.
For me, this is it.
Wow, that's a tough one. I can think of a few FF covers. FF29, FF50, FF112. Man, I don't know. Maybe it's in my mind though. I feel like the hands and the head are separate. Like it's just floating. This is my I don't have my visual imagination isn't connecting that.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I'm in the minority because obviously somebody likes it because it's the custom label. I mean, I like it.
True.
I know. I'm the silent minority on this one.
This is a complete attached at the Staples. I mean, this is a 2025, right? Like,
yeah. Look at the back.
Yeah, the back's got it's missing. It's got some writing here, and then there's tape.
I mean, this book here is chipped up, missing pieces, and that came back a 2.0.
A 2.0, and so there's tape here on the interior. This tape is holding the back cover behind, but CGC has said that they're less strict about the back cover. Yeah, I'm confident in saying this is a 2.0. Usually with 1.8, I mean, this cover is not. Here, let me get close so you guys can see.
Don't trip. Will you slab it? You're gonna say you have to slab it, right?
I don't know. Maybe I'll let somebody. I mean, if the slab is real and not a reprint or something, then I essentially got this book.
Yeah.
For nothing, so I can give this book. I can sell that book to somebody, and they can pay a raw price instead of a graded price.
Yeah, it's actually really there's like not a ton of color breaking creases or anything. It's actually really has a nice presentation. That is a cool cover. It really is. Yeah, it's nice.
All right. Well, sorry for all the.
Look at that cool.
Yeah, that's
Look
a
at that
great
cool flip page right there.
Yeah.
I just love it. We were going through a bunch of FFs and Spider-Mans just earlier this week, bagging and boarding some books, and grading books, and so we got kind of caught up and looking at, when you're grading books, you have to look at the inside. But we would have had fun looking at the inside anyway because it's just really fun to see all these panels. And I noticed that almost every single issue, Kirby had at least one full page panel.
Yeah.
He really liked to do that.
Yeah.
Sort of dramatic, big.
All right, since this is a big key, and I doubt I'm going to grade it, it gets a clear backing board.
There you go.
All right. So, the 49 passes the test. It's attached to the Staples pretty firmly, considering that the rest of the book has got some pieces missing and stuff. You guys are going to watch me rip this into a 1.8 with the dreaded Mylar.
Oh, yeah, it can happen, especially when the book has some occlusions in it because they'll catch. I know. Ask me how I know that.
All right. We're locked in.
Nice, good bet.
So, there we go. It's a legit copy. Not scammed. Passed the first test.
There you go.
That's from you.
And the next one, it's going to pass because it's already slabbed. CGC's vetted it for you.
All right. This is the nicest 3.5 I've ever seen.
That's what you were hoping for.
It's got to be torn at the...
The nicest 3.5 I've ever seen is my Fantastic 412.
Dude, why is this a 3.5? Because it's some stain? Oh my gosh. This is this almost looks better than the 4.0 that you have that I traded you.
I think it does.
It might.
Yeah, I think it does.
It's got way less spine tear.
Yeah. Whoever graded this has having a bad day.
Hold on. I did look up the certification number when I bought it, but I don't remember what it had said. So let me look up the cert number on that again. It's got a lot of Newton rings, but
Yeah.
that doesn't bother me.
No.
Let me see the cert. Yeah, things like Newton ringed up. 16179670001. All right. Verifying you're human. When the robot has to verify that you're human.
Yeah, there's something very ironic about that.
Heavy multiple readers crease front cover breaks color. Kind of crazy for a 3.0. Heavy spine stress lines break color. Multiple crease front cover breaks color. Heavy stain back cover. Okay, it keeps saying the word heavy.
It's not heavy.
It's not. Like,
No.
the staining.
I don't know when that got graded, but I'm pretty certain I don't know if it'd be worth it because it's a high dollar book and it would be expensive to grade. But if you cracked it and sent it in, there's no way it's not at least coming back a 4 based on the eye test.
If I'm looking at this book raw, I'm grading it as a 4. Like this, right. I don't know why this is.
But it doesn't fall. The bump in value from a 3.5 to 4 doesn't make it worth it to crack it and reslab it.
Yeah,
it's kind of like my FF12. It's the same thing. I know I could resend that in. It's going to come back better in 3.5. I mean, I don't know, but I feel like it would.
Yeah.
But financially, it doesn't really pay to do
right.
it.
This is heavy staining back cover.
There are no heavy stains.
Look under a flashlight. That's not. That's
I don't even see a heavy stain.
It's like very light on the corners.
No heavy stains. I've got books up on this wall that have heavy stains on the back.
Yeah,
I mean Golden Age books.
Yeah, that one right there.
This book here has a lot of heavy stains, for example. So this is not heavy stains. Show the camera this one.
This is a 3.5.
Show them the back of that and ask them what they think.
This is a 3.5, and this book looks significantly worse than this one, and it's got a piece missing. So this just makes 0 sense.
Yeah. Show them the back. Ask them, you guys, what about the back shows you heavy anything? Heavy, it says heavy staining. Whoever was grading it didn't get his coffee that morning or something. There you go.
Yeah, somebody was having a bad day.
Yeah. That's why when I'm grading student work, if I have a couple of subpar versions in a row, I'll just get up and walk away. Like I'll come back and grade later because I'm going to take it out of the next one. I think your grader for this FF48 had a couple bad experiences in a row. And his boss just chewed him out or something.
Seriously,
he just got yelled at for being too easy on the last book, and then he got that book.
I know it says heavy readers crease, heavy color break.
It's not.
The 4.0 that you have has more spine ticks.
Well, it's actually those grader notes are incorrect. That's the thing. It's not heavy staining by anybody's definition. It makes you wonder, right? Did the wrong grader notes get on that book? It's not heavy staining. I don't see heavy reader creases either.
Right.
Anywhere. I don't see heavy color breaks either.
CGC's in Florida, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they had Florida Man grading this book. The notorious Florida Man.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's great. That's so you have to be happy with that purchase, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll give it a closer eye when I'm not on camera and see, and then I'll have to check pricing and stuff and see if it's worth.
You're gonna start collecting a pile of FF48s. That's gonna be.
No, I'll collect a pile of 49s though. I already kind of have. That's my 4th copy of 49.
And you still have all 4?
Yeah, I have a 6.0, I have a 5.0, I have a 3.5, and then now I have that one.
I have a 7.0 restored somehow, which still bothers me to this day. But we talked that to death on this podcast.
Yeah.
I can't keep talking about it. You guys are going to say, just get over it, sell it, and buy a new one and stop whining.
All right. let's yeah, it's unboxing. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. Go ahead and kick us off.
Yeah,
show and tell.
Show and tell. I brought something. It's not even a comic. I'm just gonna take it out of the Mylar. In fact, I brought
So our first graphic novel.
a graphic novel. In fact, the first ever graphic novel put out by Marvel, and that is The Silver Surfer: The Ultimate Cosmic Experience.
Who did the art on that?
Jack Kirby.
That's Jack Kirby.
Yep.
That does not look
Well,
like.
I don't know if it's Jack Kirby cover, but it's Jack Kirby inside.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure who did the cover. Without my glasses, I can't read that.
Wow, that's super cool.
But this okay. Here's why I'm bringing this as show and tell. This thing's really cool. Just flipping through it, I just look at some of this art in here, man. It's just
White pages.
Look at that panel.
Yeah, that's cool.
Is that not really cool? I mean, it's just it's an original story. And okay, first off, came out in 1978. There you go. I've never owned it. I've always wanted it, and I picked it up at
Norm.
a comic shop in our area. Recently returned to our area, as a matter of fact, and they had it there for I think $25, man, which was a really good price. It's in high grade, that book is probably only about $100 anyway. It's not hugely valuable, and maybe it should be, but graphic people are it's not a comic book, so whatever. But 1978, it is the last time Jack Kirby and Stan Lee worked together. Is right there.
Wow.
It's the last time they worked together, and it was created at the request of a movie producer who asked Marvel, or Stan Lee specifically, to create a template story, Silver Surfer, that could be either a movie or a show, and I think a movie. And all this is really good information on Key Collector if you're curious to kind of read about it. But so they put this together, and it exists in an alternate universe than our universe. It's not the 661 universe. So it's kind of multiverse before there was multiverse. It's Silver Surfer story in another universe that has reappeared in one other Silver Surfer story in Marvel comic book lore. They've gone back to this universe, but only in a 3-issue miniseries. But this whole story takes place in that universe. And if you notice, you have Norrin Rad and looks like Shala Bal, but looks like she has some cosmic powers. So it's an interesting thing to consider. Who knows what the MCU is going to do with Shala Bal, but I'm not really claiming it's a spec play or anything. I just think it's a cool collectible,
Yeah.
Like, why did I get into this thing in the first place? Like, in part to speculate, to see if I can make some money, but that's not really what drives me to the comic shops, and that's not really what drives me to the antique shops and the Comic Cons and the claim sales. What drives me to those claim sales is I'm a collector, and there are things that I want that because I think they're historic, or I think they're beautiful, or I think they're phenomenal reads, or they're nostalgic, or all four, or and they're fun to spec. So this checks pretty much every single box for me, and it's not in perfect condition. It's obviously got some creases and all that, but again, I wasn't really buying it as a spec. I just wanted to have it to read it, and to bring it on the podcast to show you guys, because I think it's a cool piece.
Yeah, it is for sure. Yeah, it's a really cool book.
Yeah,
and the FF trailer, which we'll talk about. I was like a doubter with going the Shala Bal route instead of Norrin Rad.
Yeah.
But her moment in the trailer was so cool. Immediately flushed out any doubt.
Yeah, she was so good.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that when we get there. But yeah, nice.
So yeah, a cool piece. I haven't read it yet, but I'm gonna read it. And but I already know the story it's similar to the 48 to 50 trilogy in a sense that. In this case, Silver Surfer rebels and battles Galactus to try to save the world.
Yeah.
So a familiar refrain for this character.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. Love. For some reason, Stan Lee has a real affection, or had a real affection, for the Silver Surfer. Like he was really believed in the Silver Surfer. The Surfer has never really ascended to the popularity that I think Stan Lee envisioned. I mean, obviously he did when he's like, well, let's make this the movie, and it's his first run only ran 18 issues, and they were really ambitious about it because it was a double sized comic book. They were selling for $0.25 when everything was going for 15 cents. So this is kind of a testament to that he actually roped Kirby back in 1978, and they got together and they did this thing. Right?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. So
yeah, right. I love that. Rest in peace, Brian Wilson. But that's where the inspiration for Silver Surfer came from, was the explosion of the Beach Boys and surf culture in California.
Yeah.
So that's close to home to us. We're
big time.
We're both Cali boys, different parts of Cali. Almost kind of seems like two different worlds.
But. Yeah. Yeah. But we have surfed, or I've surfed. I don't know if you've surfed or not, but I haven't surfed enough to have surfed much more than you if you haven't surfed.
Yeah. Silver Surfer. Yeah. California represent, baby.
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So my show and tell is kind of a bit of, I'm not necessarily showing off a book. I'm kind of showing off an idea.
Oh,
so
all right.
Remember last year I was into the towering covers?
Yeah.
I think this year, as far as just like hunting goes, I've kind of spent a lot of this year, 2025, looking and like buying collections more so than buying like personal collection pieces. And I try not to bring stuff home, when I'm going through boxes or whatever. But this happened the other day when you and I we were bagging and boarding, and we came across a very sharp copy of 93 FF93 or it's in this stack. Yeah. You'll see it in a second. Yeah. Very high grade. And the same thing happened when I first bought this collection. I was going through the Daredevil. There's a Daredevil cover that I'd never seen, that very similarly high grade. I put it at a 9.0 Silver Age 12 center, immaculate colors. And then I kept from this collection, the third book in this is a book that I kept from this collection as X-Men. And then I realized this weekend that they all share a similarity.
Right.
So let me see and make sure what order we got it in. Okay, so 107. So this is Fantastic Four 107. So this is a really cool thing cover. The green, just really
gorgeous. Yeah.
Really sharp.
Like we stopped what we were doing and just examined this book for a long time.
Yeah.
Because we were amazed. And it's white pages too.
Yeah. So there's that FF 107. And then check this out. Oh no, this is a 15-cent cover, sorry. This might be the most beautiful Daredevil cover I've ever seen. This is Daredevil issue number 80. This is immaculate. This is Daredevil fighting the Owl over Manhattan as the sun is setting. And I've never seen, this goes from purple to blue to green to burnt orange to yellow. And then you got the Daredevil red, and then you got the Owl wearing green and purple. And there's just so many colors on this cover. I've never seen.
That's very pretty.
That is an investment for the publisher to print that and have all those different colors. That's not, they try to use as little colors as possible on those, or as simple of colors rather, on covers, because it's cheaper to do it that way.
Yeah.
The more of one color that you have, the better it's going to be. That's why Golden Age, you just see a lot of yellow, on the like the cover. They did that because it's cheap.
Must have gotten a good deal on the yellow ink.
Yeah, exactly. Cheap, and they can just kind of throw it on there.
Yeah. But is yellow's a primary color too, right?
Yeah.
So that's got to make it cheaper.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking.
So, yeah, it's affordable. So, affordable.
That is gorgeous.
Yeah, isn't it?
Wow. So, okay, keep going.
So, and this next one is actually a book that I've wanted for a very long time, but every time I've seen it, it's like way too expensive. And then this book, I'm going to send it off to get graded. I think I have it here. Oh, I don't have it graded. It's a 9496 copy. And it could come back 98 because sometimes they'll let some color ticks go through. But this is Uncanny X-Men 135. So
Yeah, it's a great book.
so this is like
man, always loved that book.
I'm not a big X-Men collector, but I've always loved this book. So yeah, I just kind of realized like I'm really drawn to when these publishers invest the money into the color or sorry, invest the money into the cover of the comic and just splash color on there that you don't see. Like I sold a book in a claim sale that was Daredevil 38 or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
And it's all purple. And it's
Yeah.
like Daredevil, like he's kind of just flying and he's and the whole thing's purple. And I'm like, man, you don't see this type of color used a lot by
Right.
Marvel.
You want to put these up here?
Let's see.
You can fit them.
So, and these are all high grade, so the color stands out even more.
Yeah, they're gorgeous.
Here, I'll put.
Yeah, man, that's tempting to get them all graded. The thing is, these books, well, aside from the X-Men, you could get them in high grade, even slabbed, for very reasonable deal if you just wanted to go around and say, I just want to get some high grade amazing covers, which is absolutely a thing,
Yeah,
I love to do that.
that's why I kept this, because I'm like, okay, I'm not keeping any other of the Burn X-Men, and my price per book on this collection, and how long I've wanted this book, like, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, definitely. That FF is great.
All right, there we go. And then maybe
Yeah, slide them in there.
there we go.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, so
Yeah,
that's our.
those are cool, man. I love all three of those.
Yeah,
So have you decided? Are you gonna put that FF in a claim set? Or are you gonna keep it?
I'm gonna keep it for now. Yeah,
Good. That's what I was.
What I envisioned when I was thinking about it this weekend was, or this week, I want a short box that's just full of only like crazy colored covers. So
Yeah, high grade, crazy colors.
yeah, I just want to find them and I
Yeah.
just want to throw them in there, and I just want somebody to like look through it and just be like, what are these
Yeah,
colors?
It's like a feast for the eyes, right?
Yeah, it's not they're not white covers or like the cream that's used a lot in the Silver Age. It's not gray, it's not black. Like those are like the kind of three most common ones that you see.
Yeah.
So I respect that there was definitely an investment on the publisher side
Yeah.
to get these done. And honestly, it's not just an investment. It's truly probably the artist and the colorist coming to the publisher and them saying like, hey, I have this cover idea. It's going to cost a little bit more, but we got to do it.
Yeah.
And so they're like probably, I would imagine, and I have nothing to base this off of, but I imagine that they probably had to fight for their art in those moments. Because
Yeah.
you got to give the publisher a reason to say, okay, why, like with the Daredevil one, why am I going to print purple, blue, burnt orange, yellow, red, green, purple,
Right.
and all these colors on this? Like, why would I do that?
Yeah. I wonder what the decision would be. Like, for example, Fantastic Four, they're already selling a ton of copies, so there's not a lot of extra margin you're going to get. You can't make the case to your publisher to say, well, we'll have 30% increase in sales because people are going to see. Like, they might have been able to make that case with the Daredevil because Daredevil wasn't selling a lot,
Yeah.
right? But Fantastic Four, they're like, no, it doesn't matter what we do. FF sells.
Yeah.
So maybe you know what? Maybe that's why some of the off-brand books have some of the cooler covers, like the Strange Tales ones, those that run with Doctor Strange, those crazy.
Oh,
big
the
covers.
Stranko ones?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Or there's some really amazing Thor covers.
Yeah.
And really amazing Tales to Astonish covers. Makes me wonder if they were more inclined to do more expensive covers, at least one or two, on the less popular books because they could make a difference. I don't know.
That's a Gene Colan cover for FF, or sorry, for Daredevil.
Okay.
And then that's Burn in Austin.
Yeah.
And then who's on the FF? Did Kirby leave by then?
Yeah, I think he did.
That's Fantastic Four 107.
Oh, he might still have been there. I think it is Kirby. It looks like Kirby.
No, John Buscema.
Oh, Buscema.
Yeah, so John Buscema, John Byrne, and Gene Colan. So
Big names.
if they had to go to their publisher and fight for their right to party and throw on some extra color onto their covers, and the publisher had to ask why, well, it's because 50, 60 years later, you got two guys sitting on a podcast all the way across the country from where they were writing and drawing these things, and we're appreciating
Praising it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Those are cool.
So, all right, that's show and tell. Let's get to some news. We got a big news week. The best news week. I was gonna wait till the end, but you know what?
Jump in there.
I'm gonna jump in there. The best possible news that we could have gotten on the 1 year podiversary of the Comic Room Pod is that the Batman Part 2 writing is officially complete. It is complete. Matt Reeves has posted the picture of the script on the table that it's done. This movie is moving forward.
Good.
Baby.
I can finally sleep at night. I was worried. I know.
I haven't slept for 3 months because of this. You guys don't understand.
Pattison.
So that's why we got Patty Boy up here. I mean, I couldn't be more happy. I mean, this is like, I mean,
we need a sequel.
Yeah, badly.
And I've been getting not nervous, but a little bit anxious because they keep putting it off. Not like I know they're going to make a sequel. I just know, if they keep putting it off, I want to be around long enough to, I'm joking, but
yeah,
you start to wonder how long are they gonna make us wait? It's been 2 years already.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
So they
3.
got the script at 3.
Yeah, it came out in 2022.
So the script is complete.
Script is done.
So they can now start shooting.
Yep.
And we can get the rumors, the shots from the set, and the
shots from the set,
and the casting, and now it gets fun.
Yeah. So the rumor is that it starts filming in a few months here, because they got Dune Messiah, which is filming, and starting in the next couple of weeks. And you're probably like, why does the filming of Dune Messiah impact Batman? Well, for 2 incredible reasons. Robert Pattinson is reportedly cast as the villain in Dune Messiah. So that means that his time is going to be taken up for the next few months. He's going to go back to back. That's what the outlets are saying. So Robert Pattinson is going to walk off one set onto another. So he's going to be a busy man. That's awesome. 2 amazing properties. The other reason why it's important is because the director of photography on Dune, Greg Fraser, is the same director of photography for the Batman. He is probably the greatest cinematographer, I mean, I would say ever. I mean, he's incredible at what he does. Like, all of the movies he's shot, Blade Runner, The Batman, Dune Part 1 and 2. I mean, he is just a master behind the lens. So there was this moment where Batman and Dune, where and I think some other work that Greg Fraser was doing was like all overlapping, and he had to pick, and I think he went with Batman and then this other thing that he had already committed to prior. But now, because of the way everything's shaped out, I think, as far as the last thing I heard, is that he's coming back for Dune Messiah, and he'll be doing the Batman Part 2. So
nice.
It would have been a big bummer if we would have lost him on either of those movies. Truly, like, I mean, I wouldn't even know which one to pick, which one I would have wanted him on. Mm-hmm. So not having him on one would have just really sucked. So I believe I could be wrong, but I think the last thing I heard is just the way that everything's shaped out with the delays for the Batman Part 2 is it's working out that he's going to be able to do everything now. So
nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Now we can at least start setting some dates.
Yeah. So the fun part from this is obviously this gets submitted to the higher ups, and they'll do their edits and whatever, and then they'll finalize. Well, I mean, I guess the script probably never gets finalized, but they say you can now move forward with this, and then casting starts. And when casting starts, that is when things get interesting. And actually today we got an interesting rumor. Isa Gonzalez, who is an actress, I think she was in the Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah.
She's a Hispanic actress. She liked Matt Reeves' picture on Instagram about the announcement that he was done writing the Batman, and Matt Reeves followed her back a few days ago. So people are wondering, is she going to be cast? So people are saying Talia al Ghul. People are saying maybe a Poison Ivy. Talia al Ghul is, I forget, she's half Chinese and half, I forgot what
Yeah, I don't know.
what the other one is, but so probably not gonna race swap to a Latina woman, but you never know. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, so
Okay.
that's the first rumor that we got. Okay, so as we were recording last week, news dropped that the John Bernthal is returning as the Punisher in Spider-Man Brand New Day. This
that's big.
is huge news. This is also just like, how will they PG-13 Punisher? Because they will have to, and I think everybody will kind of like respect that aspect of it because it's a Spider-Man movie, it's not a Punisher movie, and I think everybody kind of knows Spider-Man movies are there to draw in kids, so they're not gonna have Punisher be all bloody and cursing, which they shouldn't do because you want kids to go see these movies,
Right.
but I'm just curious how they're gonna pull it off. I have no clue. This also is making me think we have the Punisher like 1 hour long special presentation that comes out early next year. He's in a plot line with Kingpin right now. So is there going to be some Kingpin
I don't know.
overlap in Spider-Man?
Will the movie overlap at all with the Daredevil TV thing? I don't know.
I mean, there's a, well, that's what makes this announcement really important, is because now there's a level, there's lore
right
that is now being transferred over. Because once you bring in this character, you're now bringing all that lore from that character. So,
right.
I mean, with that announcement, you kind of hope that we see Daredevil. I don't know if we will or not, but he's definitely getting name dropped in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
like he's certain. Like, there's no way that these two are going to be talking, and one of them is not going to bring up Punisher. Like, there's going to be like I don't know, like maybe Spider-Man's like meeting Punisher for the first time and just be like, "Hey, don't you work with that like red horned guy?"
I mean, it's weird that we haven't seen Spider-Man, and I mean, we know why, but Spider-Man and Punisher on the screen at the same time.
Yeah,
because like Kingpin, these are Spider-Man's villains.
Yeah,
you know, Spider-Man's foils, and you know that's where they came up. But Daredevil snagged Kingpin during Miller's run, and Daredevil snagged Punisher because of the licensing issues.
Yeah.
But we're going to get all that sorted out now. And I expect to see some Punisher and Kingpin showing up in a Spider-Man. I want to see it. Yeah. Everybody wants to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope we get more Daredevil adjacent characters.
Let's go.
All right.
Like the animated where they had Daredevil and Spider-Man battling.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was really cool. Okay, this is not superhero movie news, but this is pretty big news, I would say. Denis Villeneuve, Dune director and Blade Runner director, is going to direct the next James Bond film. So Christopher Nolan was actually up, like one of the names on the short list for this.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't give him final cut rights. And that's a big thing for him, is he wants final say on what the movie is going to be when it goes out.
Yeah.
That's something that he got with the Dark Knight movies, something that he like negotiated. And something that Warner Brothers weirdly kind of wasn't letting other people do, which is why you get people asking for what was his name? David Ayer, who directed the Suicide Squad. because Warner Brothers came in, reshot a bunch of stuff, and made it their movie. So that's why you have people crying out for the Ayer cut. That's why you had people crying out for the Snyder cut. It's because you had a lot of Warner Brother involvement. So it's weird that they went from like giving Christopher Nolan the keys and Christopher Nolan making a great trilogy, and then the DCU kind of gets its own comic universe, and then they just like don't give the keys over.
Immediately proceed to shoot themselves in both feet.
Yeah, exactly. So I bring that up because Denis Villeneuve comes out on top, and he's now the director for the James Bond film, but he doesn't have final cut rights. So I guess he's okay with that to some extent.
Well, he's getting paid.
Yeah,
and it's a good. I mean, it's an amazing brand. Bond.
Yeah, probably one of the only good thing to come out of England.
It's a franchise from the 60s, man. I mean, how many movie franchises are around from the 60s?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. You didn't hear my joke, but I think they did.
Oh, what was the joke?
I said probably the only good thing to come out of England. Well, I guess George Washington came out of England, so maybe George Washington.
Did he come out of England?
Well, right, because they had to.
I mean, I think I don't know, history buffs. I think George Washington was born in America, though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think because he came. I don't think he was born in England and came over. I think he was here, but part of the British.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Like
I'm a college dropout, so I don't listen.
And I'm not a history professor, but I'm pretty sure that Washington was born in America. But
yeah, that makes sense.
But there's some decent things that came out of England.
Yeah. New England.
Not much.
I hate New England sports. So maybe not.
I can't say the food, but. The language.
We're teasing any British.
Yeah, we love you guys. We love
teasing.
the Brits. We're playing around.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We don't have a James Bond yet. But the gentleman, what's his name? Aaron Pierre is being eyed. Mm-hmm. He's playing John Stewart, so he's being eyed as the next Bond.
Yeah.
Tom Holland's name has been thrown in there. I don't know.
He feels young, but he could do it.
They want to go. They want to go under 30. But my thing is,
so I'm out.
Unfortunately, you'll get the.
I was ready, man. I was ready to play like the Roger Moore, the older James Bond.
Yeah, like
guy.
Old Man Logan, but like Old Man Bond. Yeah,
I could. Well, if I can't do Bond, I could go Old Man Logan. I'll go for that.
So I don't. I think Tom Holland gets a lot of flack because, he joined the MCU when he was like 17. He was like really young, and that's like the birth of his career essentially. He did a few movies before that, but this catapulted him into fame, and people kind of dog on him because they say he hasn't done anything good outside of the Marvel movies, which I haven't seen his entire catalog, but what's that Netflix movie called? The Devil. Why am I forgetting the name of it? It's a really, if you like thrillers, it's really good. It's takes place in like the devil all the time. Came out during COVID. It's on Netflix. The cast it's got Bill Skarsgård, Tom Holland, Robert Pattinson, Sebastian Stan. It's got a lot of people in the movie, and it takes place like in the early 1900s in the South, and Robert Pattinson plays this new preacher that comes down. He's a real crooked preacher. And Tom Holland's just kind of like trying to protect his little small town, and then it's just kind of like there's like a Bonnie and Clyde type couple that's also involved. So it's a really good movie, and I thought he did great in it. But I haven't seen many other movies outside of that and Marvel. So it gets the bad rap. Anyways, to tie that back into James Bond, he could do this movie with one of the most well-respected, active, and current directors, Denis Villeneuve, and just kill it as James Bond, and then, bring back that respect to his name. But I don't know if he's got like the seriousness that like a James Bond would need. But that's also part of the thing is like you take on this role and you prove to everybody who thinks you can't do it that you can do it. So I don't love it. I don't hate it. It's like, hey, show us what you got.
definitely would break the typecast.
Yeah, for
if he could
sure.
pull it off.
Yeah, and I mean that's what Robert Pattinson like did for so long.
Yeah. He's finally crossed the bridge away from.
Yeah, from Twilight. So Tom Holland's seemingly in that same boat, but just like you can't be anything other than Spider-Man. Prove him wrong.
Who's the guy? Who's the guy who played the
Taylor Lautner?
Yeah, that dude. I don't think he got out of the typecast.
No,
I think he's still stuck there.
Yeah, he's. I think he's pretty active on TikTok. Yeah, I think that. I think he probably still does shows and some movies here and there, but
yeah. That whole Twilight thing was such a phenomenon. It was like even Kristen Stewart kind of still stuck in it, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's tough, man. You can't escape the orbit of some of these franchises. It's tough.
Yeah, it is tough. Okay. Sony has reportedly paused all plans for their live action Spider-Man spin-offs, including their planned Null project. So,
okay.
That could be every time I hear that, like Sony's paused or Sony cancels, my first thought is is Disney putting the pressure on so that they can buy the whole Spider-Man universe back. But when that happens, that's going to be a multi-billion-dollar deal.
Yeah.
Like that's going to be a deal that is breaking numbers that are just so crazy, unrealistic.
It's going to bring Steve Ditko's family out of the woodwork again.
Yeah, probably.
They're going to say, "Hey, look, man,
Yeah.
That's a bet." Because those creators, if they're not getting a piece of that action, they should.
No, yeah.
And I do count Ditko as a, I know Stan Lee didn't agree with it, but I mean he was as much involved in it as as anybody creating. Like if you're going to give Bill Finger, and you should, co-creator credit for Batman, Ditko is the same thing for Spider-Man, right? I mean he executed it.
Yeah.
But Stan Lee's like, well, I came up with the. But anyway, that's going to be a massive deal. It should be, because he's the Batman of the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Or the Superman. I'd say Batman. I don't know. Take your pick. He is the franchise.
Yeah, he is for sure.
Yeah.
And that's why they worked so hard to get like this kind of half and half deal.
Yeah, anything, right?
To get Tom Holland in the MCU. Yeah. Okay. This is another. Not quite. Well, it is comic related, actually. Michael Bay is returning to direct a new Transformers movie. So he did the first couple Transformers movies, the Shia LaBeouf ones.
Those were fun.
Yeah, I really like those.
Yeah, me too. I stopped watching after Bay left. I don't think I watched the ones that came out.
Yeah, I never watched the ones with, was it Mark Wahlberg? Like after Shia left, I never saw those.
Yeah, same.
But yeah, I like them. This is really important news. This isn't like headliner news. This is like small column in the middle of the newspaper that you might just fly by. But I actually think that this is really important news. This is John Watts, who directed the trilogy for the Spider-Man movie, for the Tom Holland movies. He was supposed to direct Fantastic Four, if you remember. So John Watts did a fantastic job at like really capturing, especially in Homecoming, that like 1980s like Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller. Like he really captured like that essence in the Spider-Man movies, which was awesome. So they were trying to go for that. Like, hey, can you do that? But can you get us like that 60s vibe with that FF movie? He dropped out. Matt Shackman, who did WandaVision, who did a great job with the timepieces with all the sitcoms and stuff.
That's cool.
So, and we've seen in the trailer, like everything looks great. But John Watts came out and explained why he dropped out of directing. And I think this is like, I think this is very honorable, and this is respectable for the industry, because, and especially like capitalist America, is work, overwork yourself until you can't.
Yep.
And this is what he says. I was out of gas. I knew I didn't have what it would have taken me to make that movie great. I was just out of steam. So I just needed to take some time to recover.
Yeah.
Massive respect, because the money that is thrown at you to make those movies.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tough to say no. And the fact that he's just like, those movies wouldn't have been good. I mean, he's probably looking out for his own like future. Like as far as like, man, if this movie's not good, I'm not getting hired ever again. Like, so
you gotta bring your A game for the FF, man.
Yeah. And so, that too is like, Well, if he thought he was gonna make a bad FF movie, but just went ahead with it just so he could get paid,
I'm grateful then.
that would have sucked. Yeah. So I thought that was really cool.
Should be able to. Yeah, that's definitely respectable.
Yeah. More FF news. Disney's press release for the Fantastic Four First Steps final trailer no longer lists John Malkovich as part of the cast.
Oh, you Puppet Master fans. Sorry.
So he was cast.
No.
We didn't know his role. Along with that, he's not in the movie anymore. They also have cut 15 minutes of the movie off. So this was a 2 hour and 10-minute movie, and now it's an hour 55. So I wonder if that was a lot of his scenes.
Maybe.
Cutting time off like that is kind of a scary thing because you just never know what. And then bringing it under 2 hours is also the other scary thing. But there's also, I've seen people say this, and I didn't know this, but like cutting that 15 minutes off allows them to have more show times throughout the day so that they can have more money coming in,
maximize
for the
big
movie.
weekend.
So that could be a reason why.
Well, we're gonna find out soon enough. We're gonna find out very soon if this movie is worth the wait.
Yeah. And the final piece of news, and we'll probably talk about this for a few minutes, is the new and final trailer for the FF came out.
Yeah.
Let me just rant for a little bit, and then I'll let you rant as long as you'd like, because I've been talking. So I got to say, I was super excited for the Superman movie before these trailers came out. The marketing alone for the Superman movie has like killed my hope that this movie is going to be good. I haven't liked the direction that they've taken it in the marketing. There's a lot of things I feel about it. They make like skit style TikToks where it's like in the background, it's like it's like break time in between them actually shooting, and they're like, hey, like the marketing team's like, hey, can we take 5 minutes and film this like quick little skit that we wrote up for TikTok? And so it's like you see the behind the scenes people like working, and it's just like immersion breaking before the movie. And so I haven't enjoyed like seeing those. James Gunn is also just like, I've never ever seen this before. He's like doing the press tour and like in like all these commercials and ads with David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnan. I'm blanking on her last name. But he's in like, it's like, this isn't actually an ad, but it's like if David Cornsweet, who's playing Superman, is like throwing a football, and then they like transition it to like Lois Lane catching it. And then it's like she's then throwing it, and then like James Gunn is catching it. Yeah. And it's just like, it's always like, what are you doing there, bro? Yeah. Like, why are you part of these ads? So it's like really immersion breaking, because it's like, I know this is your movie. You don't have to be part of this whole marketing. And so I just feel like it's really immersion breaking.
Yeah, I don't like that.
And bringing Superman down to this like, I don't know,
like you're selling nachos or something.
Yeah, like it's just, I don't know. It doesn't feel as like, I don't even really know how to explain it, but he doesn't feel like Superman anymore. Like the first trailer was okay. I had some issue with the color grading, but you know, that stuff is like, that's not going to impact like,
right.
You know, overall the movie, hopefully. But then it's like when you bring the character of Superman and you bring him too close to Earth, that's when it's like, it doesn't feel special. I think that's the problem that I'm having with the Superman movie. It's like it doesn't feel special anymore. And that's what kind of sucks. And I say that because I've also had similar feelings about Fantastic Four. It's like I'm not really convinced about the casting. I really like Eben Moss-Bachrach as a thing. I'm super excited. I love him. He's great in The Bear. Pedro, I'm like 50-50 on. And to be honest, I'm still not really convinced for Invisible Woman and Human Torch. It kind of just, I don't know. They just kind of irritate me for like no reason when I see them, but you know, whatever. But this final trailer, all that gone.
Yeah.
And Shala Ball as Silver Surfer. I mean, I mean, she had. I have it here.
It was so good.
She had a line, and they like muffled her. They like put like some sort of like edit on her voice,
Yeah.
where she sounds so cool, and she probably drops a top 5 line in the entire MCU. She says, "I herald his beginning, I herald your end, I herald Galactus." I mean, I am Iron Man is number 1 line in all of the MCU. I mean, that's top 5, maybe even top 3.
That's really good.
That's cold. That is cold. So overall, I really like the trailer. This is the best trailer out of all the FF trailers that we've seen so far. And
Which was what you want. You want to save the last. You want to build the momentum so that the last thing people see really gets them pumped.
yeah,
You know.
so I think for me, and this is like the best trailer between like this and Superman. This beats out all trailers between both movies. So I think for me, I was like really ecstatic. Maybe I had my hopes too high. Didn't really like some of the marketing stuff or just like things I was seeing. So I got like, I just started to like flatten out and like descend on it. And then just everything I just said about the Superman marketing. And then this trailer really just like, one went back up and one went down. Like I ended up having to choose one, and it was going to be down to these final marketing days, and that was it. So I'm more excited for this movie than I was before. Yeah, I couldn't be happier.
Yeah,
Go for it.
I'm speaking about Fantastic Four. I mean, you know how I feel about it. I'm excited to see the movie. I'm nervous because of the movies that have come out before, and just don't think I could handle another,
Your collection can't handle it.
Start, I'm like, yeah, exactly. It's like having a bunch of stock and the earnings reports coming out. You're like, please, the whole collection's value rises and falls almost on this. But I don't have any worries anymore. I'm really pretty much convinced that not just that I'm going to like it, but that it's going to be well received. Like it looks really good. It sounds really good. I feel like they have the right tone set up for it. I just, the part where you hear the thing saying, yeah, I don't really say that line, speaking of it's clobbering time line. And he says, that's really just in the cartoon, I loved that because it made it like Fantastic Four have like a comic book persona in this universe, and I thought that was a cool thing too, where they're already blown up in the world into arenas that they don't even really go to, like, and so you get this hint where Johnny's like, come on, say it. I'm not saying it, and at some point in the movie he's gonna bust it out, and it's gonna be an awesome moment when he does, you know? And it's gonna be one of those get up out of your seat and cheer kind of moments in the theater. I could already feel it coming, So I thought that was really great. But you know what I'm going to say my favorite was? So much Franklin Richards showing up. And I mean, typically I'm not all that excited about a baby appearing in a movie, but we already have that clue that you mentioned last time where, the question was, well, how are they going to, how's Fantastic Four going to solve all this? And I don't know, one of the actors was saying, well, what did he say? Something referencing the baby, like not everything is.
Something about like the adults aren't the only ones that have powers or something like that. Yeah.
And so, now I start to wonder, like, what have we seen of Galactus right now? We've seen his feet. We've seen his kicking cars, which we know is you were explaining to me is actually happening because they put the actor in a miniature set where he could actually kick the car. Yeah, which I love. It makes it more
that
real.
Scene in the trailer where he was walking through the city. Yeah, that's all a mini set.
Yeah, so it's not CGI. And where his shadow's looming over the city. And I remember from the trailer where you see Galactus's face looking into the ship. I'm not so sure. I mean, he's going to be menacing. He's going to be freaky and scary, and it should be. Like, that's what we've been missing from Galactus in the previous versions. But I wonder if his proximity in this movie, at first, it's going to be a threat to the planet. But I think his proximity ultimately is going to be to Franklin Richards.
Yeah.
We've talked about it before. This goes back to when we were kind of, hey, if we could have the movie we wanted, it's Galactus takes notice of the immense power that's imbued in this baby. And Franklin Richards is just an infant, but Franklin Richards is, from what we're told, the most powerful mutant in the universe, in all universes. Has
Omega level mutant.
Yeah, to create whole timelines and destroy whole timelines with his mind. So he could, even as an infant, either consciously reach out and stop Galactus, or more, it would make more sense for Galactus, who is the embodiment of a universe that's gone. So he has all this wisdom, right, to recognize some kind of potential or threat in Franklin and back off. And I love it. Yeah. I'm so excited for that, because it brings a level of just a depth to the Fantastic Four as a group, because it's not just them. It's also their baby, and we've been getting hints all along, because one of the first things we got from the very first trailers was Sue saying, "We're going to get through this as a family." She says it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And we've been told that this is really going to be kind of family drama. It's a family drama. This is a family, and that's been my concern all along with the Fantastic Four movies, is that they struggled for character development because there's 4 of them. And they're trying to develop them individually, but that's not really the way to do it. You have to, if you want to develop all 4, you have to develop them as a singular unit. It's the only way. And the interactions is what makes it work. And I think they understand that with this movie.
It's kind of made me, what you were just saying. I think that the way that they set up the world that they live in sets them up perfectly to do that. So you look at the other FF movies, and it's like, the individuals coming together and becoming the FF. And in order to tell that story, you kind of have to know where everybody's coming from. Now, there's probably a level to this movie where they're going to assume that like, Johnny Storm is kind of like...
Playboy.
Playboy, just cracking jokes, like, very lighthearted. Obviously, Reed is like the mega genius of the group. The Thing... I mean, he's the strength of the group. Mm-hmm. And then Sue, especially in this context, would be like the mother of the group, like the one who's got to like manage all these personalities.
She's the glue guy on the team, so to speak, right?
Yeah, and skill set wise, one of the most powerful. Like the things she can do with her invisibility, like don't sleep on what Invis Woman can do.
Yeah,
and Marvel Rivals, she's OP.
Yeah, that's right.
So... but in this movie, what they've done to make it work is they're putting us in a universe where, as far as we know, there's no other superheroes. There might be, we don't think so, but the whole world, well, we'll say New York, all of New York praises them like celebrities. So you already have this, like, they sit in like the Baxter Building on the top of the 4 of them, and the rest of New York praises them. So you already have them like isolated, and you don't really need to tell individual stories to make it work. You just have to tell the story of this group of 4 that are idolized by these people. And it's like this protectee relationship.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, that's kind of like, as far as we know, like the tension of that the trailer is giving us, and the tension of the movie is, okay, well, we've been praising you for this long, right? They Human Torch has got the Coppertone ad in the trailer. Yeah. There's Little Caesars in the movie. They have that Giganto ad. And there's a bunch of ads in the actual trailers that we're seeing that the FF is tied to. So they got all these sponsorship and brand deals. So it's like, okay, we've like lifted you up to this point. Are you going to protect us? You got Pedro Pascal Reed saying, I don't know.
But we will protect you,
Yeah. And then you see there's a poster in the most recent trailer that Sue is walking out holding Franklin, and there's like protesters outside of presumably the Baxter Building, and somebody's holding a sign that says, "We believed in you." So instead of having to tell this individual story of like, okay, how do these 4 people come together and meet, you kind of tell the story of like, how do these 4 superheroes and this family unit that they're very clearly putting forward. How are they bonding together to protect the ones who are idolizing them?
Isn't it Fantastic Four issue number 9 where they're walking out and they're being yelled at by everybody outside the Baxter building and shamed, and they have to leave, and like so, or is
On
that,
the cover, or
yeah, on the cover.
I don't know. Let me
Yeah,
pull
look it up. It's
buy it.
yeah,
Spec on it.
It's gonna be. It might be. They may homage that where they're like kind of shrinking and they're being kind of kicked out of the Baxter building and kicked out of New York.
For Rent.
Yeah.
Yeah, with
Submariner
with Submariner. Yeah, issue number 9.
Yeah.
Heroes 1 minute, bums the next. How did it happen to us? That's what Thing says. Yeah, Fantastic Four evicted from building, 5 tower floors for rent. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. And
Wow, nice pull.
So there you go. They might, I mean, obviously Submariner's not going to be it. Well, I shouldn't say obviously. You never know what they'll do, but I hope not. Submariner's not going to be in this movie, but
Yeah,
but that image, right?
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm very pumped for the movie. What, about 2 weeks before it comes out now?
No, like a month. Yeah, we're probably about 2 weeks from Superman. I think maybe like 3. Let me see here, because July starts next week, right?
Yeah, July starts like tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
What's the date?
Wow, we are 2 weeks away from Superman.
Let's go.
Holy cow! I guess I didn't realize that. And then once we
yeah.
get to Superman, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be 2 weeks from Fantastic Four. So if you just think of it in your head, I'm a payday away from Superman. And once you get to Superman, then you're like, I'm a payday away from Fantastic Four.
I don't want it to hurry because this is my summer off, so no rush. But at the same time, I can't wait. So I'm in a weird paradoxical situation right now.
Yeah, seriously.
I want the time to go, but I really, really don't want the time to go.
Yeah.
Summer is so much fun for me.
Yeah.
So not that the school year is not fun, but summer is special.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So and as regarding Superman, I just don't know what to think anymore. I think, I mean, they dropped that little mini trailer where Superman busts in the door and he's in the Lex Luthor's office and he's like, "Where's the dog?" And
sends a guy flying into the window.
yeah, like he's upset, and what I took from that scene was, that they're really going to work hard to make us hate Lex Luthor, kick a dog is a surefire way to make everybody hate you, that he's just that petty that he's going to keep crypto locked up and like tease him about it. Like, I know what you're talking about, but then mutter under his breath as he's taking a cup of coffee that he obviously does, like just to make. So I don't know whether that's good or bad. Because I don't know. It's just hard to say. Superman is. I want Superman to feel like the 1977 Superman felt. But the problem with that is there's been so many movies since then that it's hard for it to have that magnitude that the 77 movie did, because it had never been done. And we'd never seen Superman on the big screen. We'd seen him in a TV show, but this was different, right? And so everybody was really excited for it, and it was an event. I think there's a bit of fatigue, and I don't know that it can escape that. Like, we've seen there's been a lot of Superman movies, and but I'm still optimistic about it. It just needs to be. It just needs to be primary colors. It just needs to be red, white, and blue. Honestly, like it just needs to be. You know what I would liken it to? Remember a couple years ago when the Tom Cruise movie came out. What's the one?
Top Gun Maverick.
Top Gun Maverick, when that came out. It needs to feel like that.
Yeah.
Where it's just, they're not trying to get too deep, but they're giving you something that's easy to cheer for with a character you really want to root for and a villain you really want to root against. If Superman can pull that off, I think we'd be ready for a movie like that.
Yeah.
That's what it needs to be. Whereas Fantastic Four needs to be a little something more than that because of the things we've talked about. And I think Superman can be that.
Yeah.
I think it can. I think it can, if it's aiming to be inspirational and give people something to cheer about, it could work. And I think that's what James Gunn's going for. So I'm going to maintain my hope that that's what it will do. And that it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be on the level of some of the other movies that we've come to love, like this one right here, Think Peace or anything like that. It's more kind of raw red meat, you know,
Yeah.
and potatoes. And if it works, if it does that, I think it will work. I don't think it's going to be a transcendent movie, but I do think it can be like a really fun summer blockbuster kind of movie.
Yeah. So I forgot about that clip that they showed. So when I saw that, it felt so campy to me, that scene. And part of it is also knowing, because I know that this technically isn't like on like the shoulders of James Gunn, but people hate on the internet. They hate Zack Snyder's Superman and Henry Cavill's Superman because he was too dark. He killed Zod. He was just this different take on Superman that we're either not familiar with or not even comfortable with to some extent. Like, he punches too hard, or like he went and like he was yelling at Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman for kidnapping his mom. It was like flying off the rails. And then you have this clip where Superman is flying off the rails over his dog, and those same people that are like hating Henry Cavill are like loving this. And it's like, well, it's the same emotion.
Yeah.
And like in one situation, one's over a dog and the other one's over his mom. It's like, you could probably validate the one over his mom more so. And so it's just like, also like just that whole, like the way that the internet, those Zack Snyder lovers and Zack Snyder haters are like talking about it, is just like, oh, like.
My gold standard for Superman is Christopher Reeves. And Christopher Reeves, what I loved most about him playing Superman was the meekness that he had and the restraint that he showed. Like, there were many times in this first movie and even the second movie where you see him wanting, like, he's Clark Kent and he wants to show Lois Lane that he's actually Superman. And it's a great scene where Lois is in the other room and he takes off his glasses. He straightens up and you realize, man, he really is like acting. His job, the job that he does as an actor is so incredible. And he becomes Superman before our eyes, even though all he's done is take off his glasses and change his posture, right? But then he doesn't show her because I can't remember why, but he doesn't. I could see the Christopher Reeves Superman walking into Lex Luthor's office, not breaking the door, walking in, seething angry, but knowing like what his dad taught him: you can't use your power to overpower this guy because you can.
Yeah,
like, that's not who you are. It's not who we raised you to be. But he still has emotions, and and I loved Christopher Reeves was so good at that. So I don't love it when I see him kicking doors in because I feel like, or when he's having a fight with Lois Lane about that during that interview. Does it, what does it you say, crash out? Like, that's not really the Superman I'm looking for. But at the same time, I mean, we could take a new take on it. Like, it's not really a new take. Zack Snyder flew off the handle plenty of times. Like, that's so. Yeah, I don't know. To what you're saying, that is hypocritical for people to not be critical about that, right? There's some hypocrisy there. But for me, I don't really have a say in it really, because I never really had an opinion on Snyder's Cavill's Superman. Was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, didn't love it, didn't hate it. It just was, I think. So, seeing him portrayed somewhat similar or somewhat different doesn't really. I just want to see a good story.
Yeah,
a good story.
And I think something else I kind of pulled from that little clip was it felt really aimed at kids, like the anger over the dog. I mean, I would be angry if someone took my cat. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But the very animated expression of emotion, like, as opposed to like meekness, where that's a little bit more like a child may or may not be able to like discern and kind of process like all of those, like, just kind of what's going on in like anger, frustration under restraint is probably not something that a child is familiar with. Like they probably they just know like outbursts of like a very clear on the nose expression of an emotion is for kids. Like like complex. Like that's part of why I love this movie, and specifically why I love Greg Fraser as a cinematographer is because he's so good at like these close-up shots of either the Batman or Paul Atreides and Dune, where you just are watching this tension and this trying to figure whatever is before them, trying to figure it out, and it's so good, and it's showing without telling. And sure, Superman's not telling us that he's angry, but he's a little on the nose about it.
It's look, like I said, primary colors. It's going to be a primary color movie. It's not going to have a lot of the shades and nuances, and they probably, I mean, that's a reaction to the Cavill criticism. They're going to go for something more, apple pie version of it, right?
Yeah,
I think, but I think that's the right call. That's why I say it won't be as sophisticated like this is.
Yeah,
and I don't think we'll have the. We won't fall in love with it the way we did this movie because of the kind of storytelling we enjoy.
And Greg Fraser is not the director of cinematography, so
right. But it could work on that level. I think it could. You recognizing that and seeing that, I think, is what I'm seeing also, and I think that it could work on that level though. I think this movie may or may not be aimed at kids, but I think it's one where that's going to be a common denominator. Like I think a kid can enjoy it and an adult can enjoy it, which is sort of like family entertainment level.
Yeah.
I think that's what they have to go for. I think that's what they are going for. So it's all because I haven't seen anything to suggest anything else than that. Like everything's been kind of on the nose. And normally I would say on the nose is terrible. Like don't be on the nose. But it could work with Superman because he is on the nose.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But make it clear. Don't confuse us. Don't give us a villain that suddenly we feel sympathetic toward. That'll wreck it.
Yeah.
Like, it has to be, if you're going to do it, you got to do it.
Yeah.
You don't be on the nose about everything, and then at the end try to be nuanced. It will fall flat in my opinion. But I'm only speculating at this point.
Yeah.
But I want it to be good. I think all of us would love it to be good. I think it will be successful. I think I will enjoy it because I don't have too much stake in the game. Like if it turns out it's not that good, it won't break my heart. I'll be like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah.
The worst possible thing that's going to happen for me is I'll watch it and go, yeah, that was fun, and then I'll never think about it again.
I feel like that right now is what I think. Yeah. I don't think I'm not gonna like it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of this is why hating a movie before it comes out makes sense, because you have to see it through the lens of like, okay, you're getting a piece of the puzzle. There's an arc that's going on that we haven't seen come to fruition and be completed.
Right.
So there's this arc can either end really well or can end really badly.
Right.
You can be not comfortable with something and see it through and actually become a fan of it. Like I 100% understand that as far as storytelling goes,
right.
and creating these arcs for characters. I agree with you. I feel like the arc will make everything make sense, but as far as everything I've seen, it's not my favorite. And I really don't foresee it just making crazy leaps and jumps where the arcs are just absolutely insane and mind-blowing.
No.
Where it's like, whoa, we totally like the twists and turns that this took. Like, no. Because like you said, Superman can't be that. And yeah, when you have these like messianic figures in fiction or fantasy or whatever, like you don't really, unless it's a complex one like Paul Atreides, who's like this false messiah. But like when you have these types of characters, you do, like you said, you have to be kind of on the nose because you're trying to convey like this is the savior of the world or the savior of whatever world or town that you're in. So
so I think like I that's how I felt about the Deadpool movie. I watched it, I enjoyed it, and never thought about it again. That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Like it's not meant to be anything else than that. It's like dessert. A dessert movie. This is a main course movie. Where you're savoring it. It tastes, and you're thinking about it after, and all that sort of thing. I don't expect that's gonna be the case with Superman. I do need it to be that for Fantastic Four, though.
Yeah.
I'm kind of demanding it. Like it better be that, and I'll be disappointed if it isn't that.
Yeah.
which is asking a lot for a superhero movie, right? But I guess we're getting spoiled. You know, we want the action scenes, but we also want to be challenged to think about character.
Yeah.
And that's not easy to pull off. It's not easy to make a good movie.
Yeah.
So, but you got to make a good movie.
Yeah, that's honestly kind of what you're talking about. That's what's made me love the Dune universe so much recently. Like, kind of got. Well, I like the movies since they've come out, but playing the game, and then that launched me back into the book. Like, I've just been so immersed.
Next thing I know, you're going to be like taking off to the Mojave. You're like, I'm just going to walk around for a few days, see if I can survive.
I kid you not. I've had some of the craziest dreams I've ever had since Darren and I have been playing this game and just reading the book.
Yeah.
I'm having spice dreams.
So let me tell you, let me ask you. So when you're walking around, do you start looking for shade? Like
Look at this. I'm not kidding you. I went to USPS. Look at this picture that I took. I kid you not. It's just sand. It's just, I was walking out of USPS and
oh my god,
there was just a plot of sand next to the concrete. And I was like, that looks like Arrakis sand. And then I was like, my brain is so fried. Like, so I took a picture and I sent it to the group chat with my wife and a couple of friends that play the game. And I was like, my brain is so cooked at this point. Like, I'm Arrakis sand, really? But no, I'm having some of the most like vivid, like crazy dreams. Like,
that's fun.
Normally my dreams I feel like are like not super, like they're nothing crazy, and they're kind of just like almost like hypotheticals. Like, that's historically what my dreams have been. But I'm just having like crazy, like, yeah, just these like.
Okay, you know what you need to.
So I'm on the spice, I guess.
You're on the spice. You need to get your hands on a first edition of Dune.
Yeah, right.
Or if you can't, if that, I mean, I don't know what the price on that. I guess
yeah, I think it's like a multi-$1,000 book.
What about like first edition of Dune Messiah though? Maybe something like
maybe.
That. You know, would be fun to have, right?
Yeah, it would be cool. I've been looking at the comic book adaptation of the David Lynch movie, the
which
Marvel
was pretty
printed.
good actually. That was a good movie. You know,
yeah.
It wasn't as good as the current ones, but it was good for its time.
Yeah, well, because they have Dune Part 1 and 2 is 2 movies about over 5 hours of content, and then the 1980s movie is the exact same storyline in like an hour 50 or something like that. So it's like,
yeah, they didn't get everything in there.
But yeah, no, I've had a. I think I was naturally like kind of like at an arm's length with Dune, because it's like I thought what I originally thought was Frank Herbert saying like messiahs are bad. You know, as Christians, I'm like, no, that's just flat out not true.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing it's a lot more complex than that.
Right.
And it's not just like, and he's not saying any messiah, regardless of religion, is bad. What he's saying, I mean, just on like to not get too deep into it, is like these like propping up and creating our own messiahs, which doesn't always necessarily have to be like a person.
Right.
Like that can be kind of anything that you view as like the thing that's going to save you. And so kind of putting like this, I don't know, like this Barbie doll type where you can dress it up and like make your own messiah, like build a bear. Like that's like really what he's getting into. I don't know what his religion is. I haven't really researched it too much, but just thinking about the universe he created.
He knows what it is now.
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
Or he doesn't. You know?
Yeah. But yeah, it's the Dune universe.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
So we can talk about these books on the wall. Or
yeah, we got a few minutes.
All right, real fast.
Go first.
Yeah. So these are the books that are some of my favorites that I've acquired this year. And what I learned in this exercise of putting these up and choosing is that this has been a very expensive year. I bought a lot of books, but what I put on the wall here are a handful of the best golden age books that I bought because looking through and thinking through what I picked up this year. I have bought some books from other ages, obviously, as you guys know, but this was the year that I really kind of dove into the deep end of the pool on Golden Age. I really kind of started buying a lot of Golden Age, and I really have been enjoying it. Buying some specifically for the hunt that I'm on, and then others just because I think the cover's cool. But I'll just walk you through a couple of these here. My favorite acquisition. Well, my favorite acquisition is not up on the wall. It's Batman 42. But you saw that was on our thumbnail from last week. That's the first Batman Catwoman cover, whatever. But this one's a close second. I'm trying to talk to the microphone and get out of the way at the same time. Here we go. This is Zoot Comics 14A. There's actually two Zoot 14s. I don't know, like somebody forgot how to count over there, but Zoot 14, first issue 14, is this one here, and this one is a 1948 from Fox Features, and is a Matt Baker cover and Matt Baker art. So it's all Matt Baker. So
nice.
That is really cool. It's also a book that appeared in the SODI, the Senate hearings on the section of the innocent stuff and comics code stuff. And so I've wanted a SODI book and wanted a Matt Baker book, and these are both one and the same. So the reason it was a SODI book is because there was a suggestion of torture inside the book. But it's a pretty tame book as SODI books go.
Yeah.
But beautiful book, 4 or 5 off-white pages, Matt Baker cover, classic book. So that's bought this one on eBay, and the only reason I was able to afford it was that I had some credit card points that I used that ended up paying for about 30% of it just based off of that. And I still spent a lot for the book, but it's just a great book. I'll mention this one here. This is Batman 62. This one I picked up on Instagram. One of those consignment sellers, and I made an offer, and we worked it out. This is a 1951, one of 8 Golden Age Catwoman covers. As you know, I'm on the hunt for all 8. I have 6 of the 8 if you count. Depends on how you count it. I have 5 or 6. I have one that is coverless, which is kind of ironic. But anyway, this one here is complete. It is the origin of Catwoman.
I had to push you to get this one.
Yeah, and he was really pushing me because it's also white pages.
Yeah.
And I know white pages is a big deal for a Golden Age book, you know.
Especially because I was like, dude, I need you to buy this because I don't want to buy this.
Yeah.
But the white pages is pulling me in.
Yeah. And so I couldn't live with myself if he bought it. So I know. And funny you mentioned these cool covers with the varying shades. This cover I didn't realize until the book was in my hands. How beautiful the shading is here. Like goes from red to orange. It's really beautiful. And so anyway, this one is I'm not sure what number this is. It's like her 4th or 5th cover, Golden Age cover. This one here is a Schomburg cover, classic war cover. It's a 1.8 CGC and it's conserved, so it's been worked on. And it's still showing a lot of damage, but I don't care because it's great eye appeal and it's a Schomburg war cover. And I got it because one of my best friends, Jeff, if you're watching the podcast, shout out. He lives in Florida with his wife, and he sent me money for my birthday. He just Zelled it to me or whatever and said, because you and I were going to a con. He's like, yeah, get something for yourself for your birthday, and went to a con, and I didn't really find. I didn't buy a lot at that con. I think it was Cocktails and Comics. It might have been, it might have been that, or it might have been Torpedo Con. I can't remember which one it was, but I didn't find anything that I really like.
And that means your birthday's coming up.
Yeah, it's in August. Yeah.
All right.
So perhaps it might have even been San Diego Con, but but I spent it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. But I came home that night or the next day and picked this up at a claim sale, and I thought, well, this is what I'll use his gift for, and so I bought this book. So I bought it because it was my first Schomburg cover since I sold the one that I had 15, 20 years ago. So it was nice to get one back, and because it was a gift from a real good friend of mine. So double prizes on that one. I don't know if you guys can see this LB Cole cover here, Terrifying Tales, issue number 2. If I get out of the way.
Yeah, you turn that way, it's better.
There it is. Just a great LB Cole cover. Everybody's got to have an LB Cole devil cover, right? Or, bondage cover, whatever you want to call it. But that's just a great cover. Picked that one up at a claim sale from Code Blue Comics. Gave me a really good deal. Shout out Code Blue. He's always look, if you're look to be entertained, just those are fun. Those are fun claim sales because it's all golden age things you don't normally see.
Yeah.
And Code Blue and Crime City Comics have a great time on their claim sales. They go late, usually on a Friday or Saturday night, so it's I can stay up late with them and not worry about work, and it's always a good time. And
nice.
they throw out good deals, and they give away comics too on their claim sales. So those guys are cool, and they gave me a great deal. Code Blue gave me a great deal on this book. And speaking of LB Cole, the other end of the spectrum, you got your Satan cover, and you got your Jesus, and not really Jesus, it's the Apostle Paul cover. The Living Bible, issue number 1. This LB Cole here was from the Terrifying Tales was from 1953, and this one here is from 1945, so 8 years earlier.
Wow.
So he was converted in the wrong direction, maybe. But anyway, this is a very unheralded and almost unknown LB Cole cover.
Yeah.
But there it is, LB Cole signature right here, and it tells the tale of the Apostle Paul when he's shipwrecked, and he's like telling everybody, look, no one's going to get, the Lord has revealed to me that no one here is going to get hurt. Straight out of the book of Acts. I love this book.
Yeah.
I got it for like $55 on eBay. Don't ask me how, but I did. And I got it slabbed, came back at 2.0, stoked.
Yeah.
It's a great deal. And then finally, the Green Mask. This one was a complete spur of the moment purchase. Trying to remember who I bought it from, but it was a claim sale where
JNS, right?
JNS, yeah, it was JNS. Pretty sure it was JNS. They threw this thing up there, and this book is, first off, it's a classic cover. You've all seen it before. You recognize the cover. 1945 from Fox Features. So I got 2 Fox Features books, which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
7.5 white pager of a cool cover, and the price was really, really good. So I just pulled the trigger. I didn't know the first thing about Green Mask, but I just loved the cover.
Yeah,
And this is the one that kind of started it off.
Yeah.
Once I bought this one first, and then that kind of broke the seal on my golden age purchasing.
Yeah.
So maybe I should have started describing this one. But anyway, I have a golden age Human Torch that I picked up, the Schomburg cover that just wouldn't fit on the wall. And you guys all know those Batmans that I picked up that wouldn't fit on the wall. But some really fun golden age stuff. So I thought I'd bring these today.
Yeah, heck yeah.
So it's been a fun year.
It has been.
And all these I bought in some ways because of the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, everybody knows I'm trying to get all the Golden Age Catwoman covers. Everybody knows I was trying to get the Sodi book. Everybody I talked about was my goal to get the LB Cole, a Schomburg cover. And this one, just because I saw it and I liked it,
Yeah.
So there you go.
Nice. All right, I'll start at the top. These kind of all like signify like kind of something like important that happened in the year. So I'll start off with this one. This is probably like the least important. This is ASM 194, first appearance of the Black Cat. This is, however, the error prints, the yellow stripe. So I really like Black Cat. I've had a couple first appearances, but I've never had like in any book like a low print run or like a printing error that was stopped and then they fixed it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just happened upon this book on Facebook Marketplace, and I didn't think it was legit. I'm always like really pessimistic about these things, like this eBay thing, but I'm always willing to gamble. Yeah. Like I will take. It
usually works out for you.
Yeah. So I thought maybe if I showed up, and I did a trade with this person. I traded the first appearance of Gwen Stacy, ASM 31, probably I think it was like a 5.0 copy, and I mean truly an unfair trade. But as long as he didn't know what he had, like I wasn't gonna tell him what he had.
Yeah.
And so I just asked him for pictures, sent me pictures. He was like, "Yeah, I want this X amount cash," which I would have paid him. Or he's like, "Or I'm down to trade." And I was like, "Okay, like what are you looking to trade?" And he's like, "I'm kind of in the market for a first Gwen, first Harry, ASM 31." And I sent him a picture, back cover, front cover, and he was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I like the condition of that. We'll just trade straight up."
Nice.
So I was like, "All right." So I met up with them. We met like halfway between where we live, and I got it. So I think that's
cool story.
Honestly, like, yeah, I have a 9.6 direct of this and a 9.4 newsstand and this copy. I think I'll probably sell the newsstand because, as far as rarity goes, I was thinking like, well, I can't afford a Mark Jewelers, and I'm like not gonna find one of these because these are like more rare than like Mark Jewelers. So I'm like, newsstand is as rare as it'll get for me. So like, I'll go with that version. But now that's not the case. So I'm thinking I'm gonna sell my 9.4 newsstand, keep my 9.6 direct, and then keep this one. And then maybe one day if I'm feeling crazy, maybe I'll just sell this one and my 9.6 direct and get a 9.8 of a newsstand or whatever, because that would be cool to have.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But yeah, so anyways,
Nice, good
that's
book.
it's just like probably honestly truly probably one of the that is probably the most unique book in my collection.
Yeah, that's a very good cool book.
Like, yeah, it's just, yeah. So anyways, X-Men 7, I bought this book from a friend. Shout out Katsu Comics. He picked up a little collection on Facebook Marketplace out where he lives, and this was in it. Sent me some pictures. We agreed it's probably like a 6.5. Ended up coming back a 7.5, white pages, and it's a Wanda cover. So it was just kind of like the kickstart to my getting all the Wanda covers.
Yeah.
Still got a couple left, especially the big one. But what are you gonna do?
Buy it.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Right here, this is FF52 in a 6.0 off-white. Is it off-white to white? I wanted that book for so long, since we started collecting again in 2022, and it took me 2 years to get it because the prices were crazy.
Right.
I mean, that book was probably worth double or more, like in that grade, compared to what I got it for. And so I was really patient, and I played the long game on that book, and I waited until I found the right copy. And this was before I was a white page snob, so that's why it's not white pages. But it's a great looking 6.5 or 6.0. Sorry. See, it looks like a 6.5 to me.
In your heart, it's a 6.5.
So I'll definitely try to upgrade it. Like, I would love to have like a 7.0 white pages. I think that'd be like an ideal like grade to get. So I'm always keeping my eyes peeled. But it was very satisfying getting that book because it was like a long time. Just, all right, I'm gonna be patient. The right book is gonna pop up. A couple lower grades had popped up at good prices, but I was like, I'm gonna hold out for something a little higher. Yeah. So I waited, got that one, and book. I was happy. So this kind of like signified like the 2002 me, like kind of closing the door on that. So that was cool. This book, Green Lantern 76, was my show and tell last week. Just thinking about it, it's kind of cool that like a robot or a chatbot or like whatever you want to call it told me to buy this book, and I would not have gone to that convention looking to buy this book. And also Blue Chip Comics really didn't have any intention to sell this book.
No, it was not that even weekend on display
because it was in a box under the table. So it was like, it just thinking about it, it's just kind of like I made a video on it and it was fun, but like a chatbot told me to look for this book. I would not have bought the book otherwise. Blue Chip wouldn't have sold it
because you wouldn't have asked him for
maybe,
it.
Yeah. He might not have sold it that weekend at least. I mean, he probably would have moved it by now if I hadn't bought it. But it's just kind of crazy that just like ChatGPT is the reason this deal got done.
And it's one of my favorite books of all time.
Yeah. And so I just
can't, I mean, 8.0, man, this is a nice grade.
8.0 white pages. Yeah. I just think it's crazy that this whole, like, I mean, this, you think about 2025 and even like a little bit of 2024, but like the explosion of AI in the last year.
Yeah.
Like, and so AI made this deal happen. And I think that's crazy.
Yeah. That's historic.
Yeah. So there's that. These next two ones, this one right here, Fantastic Four 3. This book, I don't know if I can ever sell it because when I look at this book, and when I look at this book, it just really signifies to me the mark and the beginning of Spro's Comics as a seller.
Yeah.
So like I bought that massive Silver Age collection that had like Avengers 1. It had another FF52.
Yeah, that was the start of the inventory.
Yeah, it had crazy keys, and so it really did kick off my inventory. And this book this is my favorite book of that whole collection, and yeah, I don't know that I could ever move on from this book because it signifies the start of that, and so I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great. So, you should keep that book.
Yeah, I've thought about it, and I've even thought about, do do I want to upgrade? Like, do I want to sell and get a white page copy? Because I'm going to do like the top 10. That's my long-term goals, like top 10 white page. But I don't know. I don't know if I could. If I would, I would have to get another copy. But yeah.
That's like people save their and frame the first dollar at their store.
Yeah.
It's sort of like that for you.
Yeah.
Right?
So the beginning of Spro's Comics selling.
Yeah.
Storyline, side quest. Last book, of course, you guys know this is the 2.5 copy of FF5. I was down and out after SDCC. I thought I was never getting this book again, and then I got a 2.0 in a trade where I paid like a couple $100 cash.
Yeah,
and then I just traded other books, and then I found this at a crazy deal, and now I have 2 copies of FF5.
Yes, and we're in discussion.
So yeah, this marks my 1 year of comic room potting. Just kind of signifies some cool moments in collecting in the last year.
Yeah, it's been a phenomenal year.
Yeah,
the having the podcast has absolutely accelerated my comic book purchasing. Yeah. There's no question,
and it's also refined it too.
Yeah, it has expanded it and then refined it. We were just talking the other day how I'm going to join you and just sort of trying to curtail a bit more of my new comic book purchases, just because A, I'm running out of room. B, it's it's a constant expense. Yeah, that comes at the expense of being able to buy some more of these things, which is, I love to read the comics, but I can always wait for the graphic novels to come out once I find out the story's good, because it's cheaper. Yeah. But I do want to support the LCS, so it's But But anyway, I definitely has been buying a lot more comics because it's fun. I can rationalize it. Well, it'll be my show and tell.
Yeah, I think I was before the pod. I think I was just kind of buying whatever, but I think, like you said, the pod accelerated and expanded what I'm buying, but it refined it in the sense that I definitely have more of a focus. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just because of meeting people like Rohan, who's an incredibly focused collector.
Yeah, he is.
And so being inspired and encouraged in that way. Still, I would just get bored because I'd be I want to buy a comic. I don't want to wait.
I want the thrill.
Yeah, I want dopamine now.
Yeah, give it to me. Maybe we should put the some kind of a, I don't know, a contest or what would you call it exactly, but let the audience decide. Give them 3 or 4 choices. What's the book I'm going to go for? Is it going to be FF2 or 4 or 5, or is it going to be Detective Comics 122, or is it going to be, you know what I mean? Just get 3 or 4 and say you and then just make that a thing that I'm always talking about and you're always talking about, because it probably won't happen right away. Whatever it is, like Grail books up there, but say this is in the next, for year 2, I want to acquire this book. But which one's it going to be? I'll let you guys decide. It'll be one of these 4. Any one of these 4 is on my Grail list of never think I'm going to get, but would love to get. Yeah. And then let them kind of decide, and then make them a part of the journey. Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
And then maybe they could tip us off too, if they find one for sale somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah,
we'll have some. I can I can think of 4. So we run out of
battery.
battery.
Because we hit 2 hours.
Okay.
So the camera's off. So they're all audio now.
Okay.
It's all right.
Well, we're wrapping up on audio.
Yeah.
That's good. We're a little scuffed for our last episode.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what the wall will look like next year.
Yeah.
So it'll look, different, obviously. We're not going to buy second copies of this. Maybe we might see some upgrades on the wall.
It's possible. I think there might be a Fantastic Four or 2 that'll probably pop up there.
Yeah. I believe it.
Or maybe
you got to chase down that. You got to lock in that.
Which
top 10 or top 13 at this point now.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm not. Yeah, I was top first year, which would be 1 through 12 an annual 1. But now I'm thinking I got to add 13 for the first watcher. It's kind of weird to leave that off.
Oh, well then you can't do the 13th because your daughter was born on the 14th.
Here we go. See, this is the problem. See, but I need to get issues 2, 4, and 5. Issue 1, I know that's an albatross that's somehow going to maybe, that's a white whale. But the other ones, maybe I get 2, 4, and 5, and then I get the golden record reprint in a really high grade.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it's going to be for me. Maybe. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just get a scuffed up, 0.5 version of FF1.
Or NG, no grade.
Yeah, or maybe just a splash page, something, anything.
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're lurking on Heritage, surely you can find something.
I am also considering buying a page of Batman 1. If I could get the page where Selena Kyle appears.
Oh.
So I get her page first appearance. That's the only way I can do it. It'll cost me a lot of money, but it would be pretty sweet.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Graded page.
Yeah.
Say that. There she is. That's her first appearance.
Dang.
So I'm not getting Batman 1.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen unless I buy a house and it's in the woodwork, It's literally behind like that Superman 1 or Action 1 or whatever it was, Action 1. But anyway, I guess we should sign off since they can't see us anymore.
Yeah. Well, thank you everybody for watching and then listening.
Yeah.
To this. Thanks to all our listeners too, the quiet supporters. We appreciate you guys over there on Spotify or whatever it is that you listen. Don't forget, we're giving away Luke Cage Hero for Hire 1. 3 ways to enter is 1, comment down on this podcast what your favorite moment in the podcast was in the last year. Make sure you're subscribed to this YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. I'm at Spros_comics and he is at Mr. Longbox. Enter the giveaway. We'll ship it to you completely for free. And you can get a nice key, a Bronze Age key, one of the top Bronze Age keys.
Yep. One of my favorites.
Yeah. So, appreciate you guys for watching and listening to us in the last year.
Thank you so much.
Anything else?
No, just looking forward to another year.
Yeah. Looking forward to 2025-2026 season.
Yes, absolutely.
So, appreciate you guys, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you later.
Bye.